Have you ever tried running modern software on a 75-year-old computer? It crashes, it lags, it doesn't work. Then, how can a 75-year-old constitution, written in a completely different era, solve the problems of today's India? Yes, the Constitution of India is one of the most detailed and largest in the world. It gave life to our democracy, structure to our government, and protection to our people. But here is the truth no one wants to say out loud. Our constitution is outdated. We are trying to run a digital India with an analog rulebook. Every nation needs rules, a foundation to function smoothly. That's why every country in the world has a constitution. Written or oral, copied or original, long or short, it defines the soul of the nation. India's constitution came into force in 1950. That was a time when the world was just recovering from World War II. Televisions were black and white and people communicated through telegrams. Now we are in 2025. We have seen the internet revolution, mobile bankings, space tech, AI, and social media. But our constitution still struggles to regulate even the basic modern day issues like cybercrime, data privacy, digital rights, climate crisis, or social media manipulation. Another major gap in the constitution is the issue of language. Even after 75 years, India does not have a clearly defined national language. We have 22 official languages in the 8th schedule, and Hindi and English are used for official purposes. But there is no language that binds the nation emotionally and culturally. This leads to confusion, especially in education, bureaucracy, and governance. A child in Tamil Nadu studies in Tamil, another in Telangana in Telugu, and yet another in Delhi in Hindi. But when they all appear for central exams, English dominates. This is not equality, this is not clarity. The Constitution should have addressed this decades ago, but it avoided taking a strong position. A modern constitution must establish a common linguistic framework, not to suppress diversity, but to create unity. Just like the United States has English, France has French, and Germany has German, India too needs a unifying language for national identity while still protecting regional languages. This cannot be left open-ended anymore. Another critical issue is that many areas in the Constitution are vaguely defined or completely silent, leading to constant legal and political confusion. For example, the powers and responsibilities between the center and states often overlap and clash. There is no clear definition of what constitutes reasonable restrictions on freedom of speech, leaving too much room for misuse. The role and appointment of the governor in states often becomes a political tool, leading to constitutional crisis. Even terms like minority, backward class, or public interest are loosely defined and left open to interpretation, which is dangerous in a diverse nation like ours. A modern constitution must be precise, updated, and easy to interpret, not filled with vague language that causes courtroom battles. Let's be clear, the Indian constitution is not perfect. Even our lawmakers know this. That's why it has been amended over 100 times. Why? Because many parts of it are simply not relevant to today's India. Article 44, which talks about the Uniform Civil Code, is still lying untouched. Seduction and adultery laws, written in a colonial tone, were there until the court struck them down. The concept of preventive detention, though a threat to civil liberty, still exists. Reservation policies that were meant to last only for 10 years have lasted over 75. Yes, some changes are happening, but amending the constitution is not easy. It requires time, political consensus, state approval, and sometimes a miracle. The question is, why amend an old rule book hundreds of times when we can draft a new one, relevant, futuristic, and clear? Our constitution also doesn't clearly address judicial delays, one of the biggest problems in India today. We have more than 5 crore pending cases, and the average time for resolution can stretch over decades. But there is no strong constitutional framework to ensure fast-track justice or legal reforms. Also, political parties, the main drivers of governance, are not even fully defined or regulated by the Constitution. There is no constitutional code of conduct, no transparency enforcement, no accountability structure. And when it comes to climate change laws, data protection, AI ethics, LGBTQ+ rights, or gig economy workers, the Constitution gives no direction, simply because these things didn't exist in 1950. Think about it. If companies like Tata, Infosys, or even startups still used their policies from 1950, would they survive today's global market? If you still followed your great-grandfather's lifestyle and rules, would you succeed in today's world? Then, why is a country of 1.4 billion people still running on rules made for a post-colonial nation? A simple example. Today, data is the new gold, but there is no clear constitutional framework around digital privacy. We use UPI, Aadhaar, social media, and internet banking every day, but we don't have a full-fledged constitutional protection against digital theft or misuse. We, the youth of India, are living in a different reality. We speak in memes, code in Python, vote online, and dream global. But our constitution still talks about radio, postal services, and printing presses. We need a constitution that reflects who we are, the problems we face, the technologies we use, and the rights we need. And this doesn't mean disrespecting the current constitution, not at all. It means upgrading it, evolving it, like every living system must. It's time for the Government of India to appoint a new constitution drafting committee, not of politicians, but of legal scholars, domain experts, technology thinkers, environmentalists, economists, and youth leaders. Let it be a democratic and transparent process, with public participation and a vision for the next 30 years. Let's not wait for chaos to force a change. Let's be wise enough to create the change. A constitution is not a holy book, it's a user manual, written by the people, for the people, and for their times. Times have changed, people have changed, problems have changed. Now it's time our constitution changes too. As a responsible and educated citizen of this nation, I don't want a broken system patched again and again. I want a new beginning, a new framework, a new constitution for a new India. Let's stop clinging to the past. Let's build a constitution that can carry the dreams of 1.4 billion people into the future.